Hey there, my name is James Lee. Welcome to my channel 5149, where I talk business, politics, and society. And today we are talking about money in politics, specifically election funding, foreign election funding, and is it contributing to kind of why we feel like in every election cycle we're just kind of yo-yoing back and forth between two corporate parties that seem incapable of holding up their end of the bargain. Is there even kind of a point to voting anymore? And is there anything we can do to fix this? After last week's election, CNN and other mainstream news outlets have spent countless hours, panel after panel, breaking down all sorts of reasons of why this happened, or who's pointing fingers at who, how the GOP can win without Trump, and what kind of messaging will resonate best with the electorate in 2022. But here's the deal. No matter where you are or where you think you are in the political spectrum, the system is functioning exactly as it should. At least that's what I think. Today's American political system, in its current form, is not really designed nor incentivized to respond to the needs of ordinary citizens, and this was made abundantly clear in the 2010 Citizens United Supreme Court case, where a 5-4 majority of the Supreme Court sided with Citizens United, ruling that corporations and other outside groups can spend unlimited money on elections. So it's been just about 10 years since we've effectively legalized bribery in politics, and I'm not really sure if anyone can argue in good faith that our democracy is somehow healthier or more representative today than it was a decade ago. And then just last week, in a 4-2 decision, the Federal Election Commission affirmed that foreign nationals, including individuals, corporations, and even governments, can legally pour money into ballot measures in states that don't otherwise forbid it. Apparently there's not enough money in politics already that we feel the need to legally invite foreign dollars into our elections. Money talks, I guess. The ruling applies only to federal law, meaning states are still able to ban foreign spending for state-registered ballot initiatives, though some state leaders have refused to do so. Maine Governor Janet Mills, a Democrat, vetoed a bill in June that would have done just that. Quote, "Entities with direct foreign investments employ thousands of Mainers," Mills wrote at the time. Legislation that could bar these entities from any form of participation in a referendum is offensive to the democratic process, which depends on a free and unfettered exchange of ideas, information, and opinion. Offensive to the democratic process. I mean, I get it that you might want to be careful with, not upsetting the people who have a vested business interest in your community, and I get why this might be offensive to them, but I'm not sure if not allowing foreign nationals to pour unlimited sums of money into statewide direct ballot initiatives is, quote, offensive to democracy. Like, are we as U.S. citizens really okay with letting foreign money go directly to state lawmaking via these types of initiative campaigns? Because these ballot initiatives oftentimes have a huge impact on the lives of everyday Americans. Earlier this year, I did an in-depth video examining the aftermath of Proposition 22 in California, which stripped full-time app-based drivers of employee status. Definitely check that out if you haven't already done so, but essentially major tech companies like Uber and Lyft poured over $185 million into that campaign, which included mailing out these fake progressive mailers urging people to vote yes on 22. So now you can imagine a future where not only are US-based corporations meddling in our elections, which they're doing plenty of already, but now more and more foreign dollars from foreign corporations, foreign individuals, and even foreign governments will be legally funneled into our electoral process to influence the outcomes of our elections. So if you want to talk about election integrity, this is it. None of that Dominion BS. This is legitimately a real threat to democracy. But instead, all the media seems to want to focus on are things like Democrats struggle to find message on culture wars amid GOP success in Virginia. Like I said, this is all by design, and in my opinion, losing elections really aren't a big deal to any of these folks. I mean, don't get me wrong, they definitely prefer to win, but there's plenty of money in losing. This is a little fundraising email I got from Jamie Harrison, chair of the DNC. So immediately after Election Day, the Democratic Party is out in full force fundraising off of their defeat. And for the politicians who will end up losing their seats, the future ain't so bad either. To understand what's in it for conservative Democratic senators who play the party's rotating villain role, look at those who came before them. Many of those who do big businesses bidding and then fail to win re-election or retire quickly end up scoring lucrative careers on K Street. It's the ultimate win-win situation. All of the former Democratic senators who publicly opposed a public health insurance option during the Obama administration, for example, ended up joining the influence industry, becoming lobbyists or corporate consultants, or working at a corporate-funded think tank, according to a Daily Poster review of publicly available records. And so this is why politicians in both major parties spend so much time trying to figure out and adjust messaging or trying to find the right narrative to motivate voters without really having any interest in addressing the fundamental dissatisfaction with the electorate. They don't really have to listen to their constituents. As long as the money's flowing in, domestic dollars, foreign dollars, they still get rich. And this leaves voters extremely frustrated, ping-ponging back and forth, like I said, between two parties who really only look after the big money donors, and that's it. They'll engage in some culture war stuff. Like, they'll wear some fun dresses that kind of own the cons of the libs, the kind of things that don't really matter or threaten their financial interest. So why bother? In his dissenting opinion in Citizens United, Justice John Paul Stevens wrote, "When citizens turn on their televisions and radios before an election and hear only corporate electioneering, they may lose faith in their capacity as citizens to influence public policy. A government captured by corporate interests, they may come to believe, will be neither responsive to their needs nor willing to give their views a fair hearing. The predictable result is cynicism and disenchantment." He's not wrong, because that's exactly what's kind of happening today. People don't trust any of our institutions. Our elections are driven off of primal instincts, anger, fear, hate, and we are resorting to electing demagogues who promise to solve all our problems. And if nothing changes, this is a road that can only get uglier. So how do we reverse course? Can things get better? I have to say yes, or it'll be really hard for me to keep making these videos every week. We have to believe that things can change and that they can improve. And I think they can improve if we continue to point out the perverse influence that money has on politics. It can improve if we are willing to reject the conventional thinking around party preservation. Like, the goal really shouldn't be to make sure that your party stays in power or vice versa. The goal should be to empower people and foster a political ecosystem without these types of ties to corporate funding. Something like what's happening in Rhode Island, where a slate of more than 50 progressive candidates look to take over the state through a coordinated co-op model. The Rhode Island Political Cooperative won 10 of its 24 races in the 2020 election cycle, 2 for city council, 5 for state senate, and 3 in the House. I think one of the hardest parts of change is rejecting conventional notions like, that's just politics, or that's just how things are, or money is a necessary evil, even foreign money. I don't think that's how it has to be. I get it, change is daunting, and it's super easy to get caught up in all this culture war stuff that dominates party politics. And the things that we hear every day from our media and our politicians. But if we really want a government that works for the people, if we truly want a more harmonious and democratic society, we have to reject this allure of corporate money, foreign or domestic, whether it be for candidates or ballot measures, even the ones that we like. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. And let me know if there are other topics that you want me to explore. Also, if you support what I do here, please click on that like button, share this video, and consider subscribing, maybe clicking on that notification bell icon so I can keep making more of these videos for you. As always, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next week.